Hey there, it's Denise again, and in this video I'll be teaching you how to knit the faggot stitch. It's not a stitch that I myself named. It was created a long time ago. It just happens to be a pretty stitch with an odd name. For a list of supplies and more information, visit the website. If you're a beginner watching this video, note that this is only a stitch pattern and not a project. So there is no start or end. In other words, there is no cast on or cast off. To see how I start and end my stitch patterns, go to LoomaHat.com /start my stitch patterns. Alright, let's begin with row 1, which is a yarn over, knit 2 together. This stitch does need an edge, and for my particular sample I decided to add one single knit stitch. For your pattern you can do something different. Once you've figured out what do you want to use as an edge and you're ready to start the actual stitch pattern, you will start with the yarn over, and for that you need to take the loop off your yarn over peg and move it over to the right. Then you're going to take your working yarn and you're going to E-wrap the yarn over peg, take the working yarn and lay it over the peg on the right. With your hook, you're then going to scoop that yarn down to create a new loop. You're going to take the two existing loops off the peg, add the new loop on, and you need to stretch that working yarn. You need to repeat the yarn over, knit 2 together for the length of your project, and so I want to make sure you can see that again. You're going to take your hook and take the loop off of the yarn over peg and move it over to the right where you're going to be doing your knit 2 together. E-wrap the yarn over peg, take the working yarn, lay it over the peg on the right, and then with your hook you're going to scoop down that working yarn to create a new loop. Take the two existing loops off that peg, put the new loop on, and pull on your working yarn. Alright, let me show you that again. The next peg, you're going to remove the loop, move it over to the right. You're going to take your working yarn, E-wrap that peg, lay the working yarn over on the peg on the right, scoop it down to create a new loop, take the two old loops off that peg, add the new loop on, and pull. Now let me show you an alternate method of doing the same technique. This time you can just move all of the yarn over loops over to the right, and this might make things a little quicker. I found this to be a good alternative to doing them one at a time. It's the same technique, it's just done differently. Once you move all your loops over, then you can just E-wrap, do your knit 2 together, and then repeat this process again. And if you have to do 50-60 of these combo yarn over knit 2 together, I think this can make things a little easier. Once you've done your row, in my case I'm going to end with one knit stitch. You've decided what you want to use as your edge, and now it's time to turn around because we're knitting flat, and we're going to work row 2, which is a yarn over, slip slip knit, or skip skip knit, which is just the mirror image of what you just did. All you're going to do is flip the process. So this time you're going to yarn over by moving your loop over to the left, which is where you are doing the slip slip knit, which is just another name for your knit 2 together. You're going to E-wrap, put your yarn over the two existing loops, scoop down, create a new loop, and I got a little stuck there, so scoop down, create a new loop, take the two existing loops off of that peg, put the new one on, and pull your working yarn. And then repeat. You take the loop off of the peg where you're doing the yarn over, and this time you're putting it to the left, because again we are knitting flat, which means we're going back and forth, and we're heading in the opposite direction, and that's why now our knit 2 together, which has a new name, the new name is slip slip knit, is now on the left instead of on the right. Then all you need to do is repeat rows 1 and 2 until you reach your desired length. I did want to give you more information on the stitch before ending the video. It is nice and elastic. It's got good stretch. The stitch makes a really cool bumpy type of texture. When you turn the fabric over, you'll see that the stitch is not identical. Still, it's just as pretty on the reverse side. It doesn't curl. The little bit of curling that you see here is that one knit stitch that I added to the edge. Before I started my swatch, I did knit 4 rows of the knit stitch, and this clean edge is because I did tighten my cast on. The stitch will need to be blocked, and if you want to know how to do that, I'm giving you a link in the description. And there are 4 versions of the knit stitch. I did test all 4 of them, and the one that I found worked the best was the true version of the knit stitch. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you would, share it with your friends and family, press the like button, and in addition, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Doing so will help me bring many more of these videos to our Loom knitting community.